what role you think the corporate sector should play in advancing education. You have models like P-TECH that are successful, that are popping up across the country, but you know, what role beyond that should the corporate sector play? Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, one of the great things that happened during the Bloomberg years is the corporate sector really was all in trying to support the initiatives that we were doing. And I think there are probably 3, 4 different things that work. First of all, when you say in addition to P-TECH, the more the corporate sector gets involved in replicating the P-TECHs, it's going to be good for them and good for us, because IBM certifying those kids means that those are kids IBM wants, because they have the skills that they're looking for. And so rather than having to retrain every kid that come out of my high school as an aspiring technician, we've got that done during that 6-year period. Much as we can replicate that. 2, corporations can give lots of financial support. And while money ain't everything, money matters. And what I used to say is the money I got from philanthropies and corporations became my R&D money and my venture capital money. These new schools that I started were started by and large with over $100 million from Bill Gates. And I always like to tell the story because when I was at Justice Department, I sued Microsoft. And so it's very doubtful that Gates was going to give us any money. He came to New York and he gave us in one day $51 million. And one of my principals said to me, $51 million is a lot of money, Mr. Klein. He said, but think about what Gates would have given you if you hadn't sued him. So second thing is, my third thing is to partner up on the mentor side. My kids in New York, in high poverty communities, they don't know there's such a lot of world to see. The amazing number of kids who had rarely been out of their borough in New York. You know, we assume, because our kids, most of whom are in private school, who have parents who are taking them all over the world on summer vacations and holidays, we somehow assume that that's the world that those kids. And so corporations that establish these mentoring and support programs for these kids is critical. And then finally, and Craig said it before, fight for the right issues in school reform. What the hell? Everybody's always worried about, you know, when we get some tax abatement in Albany. I mean, the world will survive your lack of tax abatement. It ain't going to survive the lack of educating our children. So get behind the tough issues so the politicians know that the corporations really support that. So there's an agenda.